Good morning, everybody. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. Happy 22 days, or as I like to say, Clayton Kershaw days away from opening day. As we'll be doing every day up until opening day, today's another team preview. And today we spotlight the Colorado Rockies. It's not going to be a Rocky Mountain High for you Rocky fans this year, unfortunately, but we must proceed and we must go forward and we must not lose 100 games. And if you don't lose 100 games, I consider that a plus. But it's been a rough year for Rockies and their fans. And to be honest with you, if I was a Rocky fan, I'd be a little bit disheartened too with the fact that they gave up Nolan Arenado to the Cardinals. I don't know why they signed him to a long-term deal if they were just going to get rid of him in the first place. So, and they gave the Cardinals $50 million on top of it to unload Arenado. And the prospects are no way going to be the return that Colorado is seeking for a player for Arenado's abilities. So as far as Colorado management is concerned, what were those Fruit Loop dinguses thinking? I have no idea, and that basically sets the tone for 2021. But before we go forward, let's start talking about the history of the Colorado Rockies, if we may. And the Colorado Rockies began play as an expansion team in the National League in 1993. They joined the league alongside the Florida Marlins and have been in Colorado and have been the Rockies ever since. They were named, I guess, in part because the hockey team, which became New Jersey Devils, was called the Rockies, if you recall, and also the Rocky Mountains. So Colorado fans are loyal. When they first started playing in '93 and they were playing in Mile High Stadium, they were playing in a ballpark where they could pack them in, and they were getting over 50,000 a game there, despite the fact the team was not that good. Since '95, they've moved to Coors Field, and that has really gotten the reputation of being a hitter's ballpark. The ball flies out of the ballpark, I should say. And unfortunately, a lot of great Colorado Rocky players of the past haven't gotten the cred that they deserve for being such good players because of the fact they played in Coors Field. Larry Walker, for example, Dante Bichette. You can go right down the line. DJ LeMahieu. Everyone said, well, they're not that good because they play in Coors Field. And to some degree, that's true. But you can't take away the fact that they were good players, even though they played in Coors Field. So hats off to all the players who have suffered reputation-wise because of playing in Coors Field. I think the true fans kind of know that these guys were good ball players. So I hope that doesn't sully their reputation because Larry Walker was, I think, the first Colorado Rocky ever inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it's good to see a Rocky player get recognition. It took him like 10 years to get there, but he's there. The magic carpet ride for the Rockies was 2007. They came out of nowhere in September, and they won 14 of their 15 last regular season games of the year in 2007, and they secured a wild card spot. And it went to the game 163, and they won a 9-8 thriller. It's called Game 163 in the annals of baseball history. Who will ever forget that? That was exciting. And I'll never forget it, to be honest with you. And then they went ahead, and the miracle continued, or the miraculous run continued, I should say, when they swept the Phillies and the Diamondbacks in the NL Division Series and Championship Series, respectively. But then they ran into that buzzsaw of the Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox already ended the curse in 2004. So now they were just out for blood in 2007, and they sucked the blood right out of the Colorado Rockies in the World Series. They swept them in 4, and the Rockies have never really been the same since, but they keep trying. Overall, I guess expansion had a lot to do with it, but their overall record from 93 to 2020 is 2,059 wins, 2,314 losses for a 471 winning percentage. So like most teams that were expansion teams from that era, they're all below 500, and they all seem to have had a miracle run at one time or another. And they're all playing in somewhat below primary markets. So you can see history repeating itself, and it does kind of repeat itself with the Rockies. And like the Marlins, who they came into the league with into 1993, they have yet to win a division championship. The Marlins and the Rockies are one of only two teams to never, ever win a division championship. And like I mentioned before, last year, Larry Walker was actually the first Colorado Rocky to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it's good to see Larry get in there. And that's basically the Rockies' history in a nutshell. Now, unfortunately, we have to go and look at the 2021 team. It's going to be a rough season. There's no doubt about it. The big question is, well, we don't have Nolan Arenado. We, meaning the Rockies, don't have Nolan Arenado anymore. Again, I don't understand the logistics behind the original contract. And, if you wanted to get rid of him only a couple years after signing him and give him all these guarantees and opt-outs and everything, it just didn't make sense. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when Trevor Story's contract is up at the end of the year, what they're going to do with Trevor. Do they actually extend him? I think at this point, to save face with the franchise and the fan base, they're almost going to have to sign Trevor Story, but we shall see. The rest of the lineup for the Rockies is not too bad, actually. But Trevor is the main cog in that lineup. And Charlie Blackmon, he's another one they signed to a long-term deal, and that kind of hindered them too, having Blackmon and Trevor Story signed to these long-term deals. It just didn't work out, let's be honest. And Blackmon's getting up there in age. He's going to be 34, so how much more he can produce, but they're burdened with his contract too, remains to be seen. I like Charlie. He's a good guy and would love to see him succeed. I think he's perfect for the Rockies. So hopefully everything meshes together and things will work out for Charlie. Their bench is, there's nothing that really sticks out per se. Josh Fuentes, who I think is Nolan Arenado's cousin. Somehow they're related. I know they were roommates in Colorado during spring training when they were both there. He's probably the best player out of everyone on the bench, I would think. But again, they're just filling roster spots, and I don't see anything really happening there with the bench. The starting rotation, and it's always, you got to get combat pay when you pitch for the Rockies, that's for sure, especially if you're a starter. You're basically in a no-win position from the first inning on. But they do have a very good arm, and German Marquez is a really, really good pitcher. I do like him. He manages to have good control, and he's a power pitcher, and he can hold his own in Coors Field. So I do like him, and he's a product of the Tampa Bay system. They got him in a trade in 2016. It's amazing how Tampa Bay can always either acquire players that fly under the radar or just basically develop players who become very good. Kyle Freeland, still waiting for him to actually break out. I think so with the Rockies. He's not going to overwhelm you with his power on the mound, and his control is a little suspect sometimes. So they're hoping for the best with him. Antonio Senzella, he is the right-hand pitcher. Again, nothing going to wow you there. John Gray is the one that they kind of have high hopes for. He was a number one draft pick by the Rockies. He was drafted he was the third pick overall. And Kyle Freeland was a first-round draft pick, number 8 overall. So they've had high hopes for these two guys. Like I said, it's always murder when you try and pitch for the Rockies. So hopefully things can work out for John. And it looks like Austin Gomber is going to be the man filling out the rotation. He's a lefty. They got him in a trade with St. Louis last month, so we'll see how that works out for him. And the bullpen, looks like they're going to have to rely on Daniel Bard. Remember Daniel Bard with the Red Sox? He is going to be their go-to guy. He could be lights out too. And I actually do have high hopes for him out of the bullpen. Speaking of bullpens, remember that year they signed just recently, I can't remember what year it was, they signed all these relievers for mucho dollars, and that just backfired. I mean, these guys weren't even mediocre. They were just horrible. So I think Colorado is always going to be gun shy with the bullpen. So signing Daniel Bard, I hope they don't have flashbacks to when it blew up in their face, and hopefully Daniel Bard can have a solid 2021. Michael Givens is probably going to be the setup man, and he was also in a trade with Baltimore in 2020. So they're two 1-2 relievers are basically from other organizations, and then Scott Oberg is the setup man basically for those two also, and he's homegrown, and we'll see what he can do. And Robert Stevenson, who was a number 1 draft pick with the Cincinnati Reds back in 2011, he's also in the bullpen. But again, nothing really to write home about as far as the bullpen is concerned for the Rockies. So there may be a lot of balls flying out of Coors Field this year, and unfortunately, the majority of them probably won't be hit by the Rockies. Hope you can figure that one out. It's not going to be pretty. And then you have the farm system, which really is not that good as far as prospects coming up. The only guy who's even rated in the top 100 is Zach Veen. He's a projected center fielder, right fielder, and he won't be coming up for a few years. So if you're looking for help, like a lot of these younger teams like Seattle, they have hope in the farm system. Well, Colorado doesn't right now. So it could be very, very painful right now. But again, hang in there. They got a good manager, Bud Blick. Like, what am I thinking? Bud Black, who is a good player manager, good veteran and skipper, and he could be the one to actually be the right guy for the team at this moment. And Jeff Bridich is general manager, and he's just going to be patient, take a few hard lumps, and try to build from within and add the right pieces. So what do I think about the Rockies? Well, let's be honest and say they should be thankful they have the Pittsburgh Pirates in the National League, because if it weren't for the Pirates, they'd probably have the worst record in baseball this year. I think it'll be an accomplishment if the Rockies don't lose 100 games. I think that'll be a nice little feather in their cap, but I'm not looking. Even 70 wins, I think, is out of the question for the Rockies. It's almost time to rebuild and re-tear, and maybe have the first piece of the rebuild revolve around Trevor Story and take it from there. So if Trevor has the patience, hopefully the Rockies have the patience. Hopefully the fans have the patience. So again, I want to thank you all. Again, sorry, Rocky fans. I know I see a couple of you out there that aren't too happy with my prediction, but everything goes through cycles, and one day your day will come. So thank you all for watching us. Again, thanks to you, the greatest Facebook baseball group members in the world. Over 9,800 strong. I hope you like these videos. If you do, like it or dislike it, leave comments, what you want to see on the site, what you want to see in these videos, and I'd be happy to oblige and consider it. You guys mean the world to me, and like I said, I post one of these up once a day up on the site. The rest are just going to be on the YouTube channel. So if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel and see all the videos, they're all chronicled there. And if you want to be aware of anything else that's coming up besides these previews from now till the end of the month, you will be alerted. Have a great day. It's Wednesday. We're one day closer to opening day. Play ball and adios.